Adadi Miriam Church in Ethiopia. And this is my friend. His name is John in English, but in Amharic it will be, say it loud, Ioannis. And obviously, this is an Ethiopian Orthodox Church holy site. And it's very important. It was built by King Lalibela in the 12th century, so it's about 900 years old. And the thing about Ethiopian culture is that it's so advanced. For those of you who think that Christianity is a religion imported into Africa, Christianity has been practiced in Ethiopia for thousands of years. If you read Acts chapter 8, you see the Ethiopian eunuch. And this is a Bible. And this Bible is in Amharic. Just take a look at that. It's in Amharic. You see that? It's in Amharic. They have their own alphabet. They have their own writing style. They have their own calendar. Different from the Gregorian calendar. It's about 7 months, 7 years and 8 months behind the Gregorian calendar. And it's more accurate. Do you know, even as much as the timing system, they don't go by the 24 hours clock that we have, that we use in the West. They have their own timing system that's it's governed by the sun. Now, I want you guys to know that this church here exists in Ethiopia. You can come here, strengthen your faith. You see pilgrims here praying, and that's what I'm doing here. And my name is Reno Mokri, and signing out. Bye-bye.
Hello, Reno Mokri here. I'm currently in Ethiopia. I'm in Addis Ababa, and today I was at Adadi Miriam. It's a church in the Oromia region of Ethiopia, and it was built 900 years ago. You know, there are other monasteries and churches in Ethiopia that are older, but I chose to go there because it has special significance to me. But today I'd like to tell you about the origins of Christianity in the world generally. A lot of people, you know, and a lot of them are Africans, black Africans, and not just Africans, also Europeans, Asians, but basically Africans believe that Christianity is an imported religion, that it was brought to us by the white European missionaries, and that's not true. It's not true at all. You know, and I'm going to give you factual evidence, you know, eyewitness evidence, you know, things I've seen, and then, you know, documentary evidence. Look, Christianity, if you read the book of Acts chapter 8, the first non-Israelite to become a Christian was the Ethiopian eunuch. The Ethiopian eunuch, if you read it here, Acts chapter 8, don't take my word, get your Bible, open it to Acts chapter 8 and read about it. But here's the thing, why was the Ethiopian eunuch in Jerusalem? You see, there's a book called the Kebra Nagast. Kebra Nagast, that's K-E-B-R-A, one word like zebra, Kebra, and then the next word, Nagast, N-A-G-A-S-T, Kebra Nagast. Now, this book is an actual historical book. It's been carbon dated. It's been verified. You know, it was written in the 14th century before Christ. That means it was written 1,400 years before Jesus Christ was born, incarnate into this world. Now, this is a book, it's written in Ge'ez. Now, the Ethiopians, they have their own alphabet. They don't use the ABCD. They have their own alphabet. They have their own numbers. They have their own calendar, which is actually more accurate than the Gregorian calendar that we use today. They also have their own clock system. Can you believe it? Now, but anyway, the Kebra Nagast is like a Bible. Now, I'm not saying it's the Bible. Don't quote me. I'm not an antichrist. I'm not saying it's the Bible. It's a historical and religious account of the Ethiopians and the Eritreans. It was written 1,500 years before Jesus Christ was born into this world. Don't take my word for it. Go and do your own research. Kebra Nagast. Now, if you read 1 King chapter 10, and if you read 2 Chronicles chapter 9, get your Bible, don't be lazy, open it, read those chapters I just told you. You would see that the queen of Sheba, now Sheba is an ancient name for this area of, it was Sheba, then it became Abyssinia, and then, you know, Ethiopia and Eritrea and all these regions. But this modern day Ethiopia, Eritrea and Djibouti used to be called Sheba. Now the queen of Sheba If you read 1 Kings chapter 10 and 2 Chronicles chapter 9, she went to Jerusalem. Now, this account is also in the Kebra Nagast. But the Kebra Nagast has more information. She met a merchant here. She was a black king, black like me, Negro, black, Cushitic person like me. Now, she went to Jerusalem and she met with Solomon. She was quite wealthy. You know, black folks were really wealthy in those days. The richest man that ever lived wasn't actually Solomon. It was actually Mansa Musa. But you know, that's something else. I don't want to digress. Now, when she went there, she had sexual relations with King Solomon. Now, you don't see this in the Bible. It's in the Kebra Nagast. But in the Kebra Nagast, what we see there was like Solomon, because he was young then, you know, he gave her a ring. Because she took in, she conceived. He gave her a ring and told her that when she gives birth to her child, that child should be given that ring so that he would recognize the child as his child. So on her way back to modern day Ethiopia or Sheba, she gave birth to a son called Menelik. Now, that Menelik in Arabic, in Islam, well, I don't know if it's in Islam, sorry, in Arabic culture, he's called Ibn al-Hakim. Because Hakim in Arabic means wisdom. So it means the wise. So Ibn al-Hakim is son of the wise. And as you and I know, Solomon in that era, he was just so wise. He was known all over the world for his wisdom. So the queen of Sheba had this son Menelik, and then she came back here. Now, when Menelik was about between 20 to 22, according to the Kebra Nagast, he kept on pestering his mom he wanted to know who his father was. And it's natural, every child wants to know who his father was. So she arranged for him to go to Jerusalem to meet his father. And then when he met Solomon, he presented the ring, and Solomon knew, this is my son. Now here's the thing, Solomon tried to persuade him because he was the first son of Solomon. Before Solomon had all the other children that you read about in the Bible, he was the first son. And Solomon tried to persuade him to stay in Jerusalem. But he wouldn't, you know, and so he said he had to go back. He had to go back because he was due to take over and become the king in Sheba. So Solomon sent him with the firstborn sons of the elite, the ruling elite. Sent him, asked all of them to bring all their firstborn sons, and then sent them. Now, if you read in 1 Kings and if you read in 2 Chronicles, there's a priest by the name Zadok. That priest is actually mentioned in the Kebra Nagast because his own first son was part of the people chosen by King Solomon to accompany his son Menelik back to Ethiopia, or Sheba as it was then called. So they all came back, but that priest's son, Zadok's son, stole the Ark of the Covenant according to the Kebra Nagast. He stole the Ark of the Covenant, and they brought it along with them. Now Menelik didn't know about it, so they brought it, and they came to Sheba, which is modern day Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. Now, if you've ever been to Ethiopia, you just wonder. You see the people in Ethiopia. You know, they are, yes, you can tell that they've got some Cushitic Negroid features, but you see that overwhelmingly a lot of them, you know, they're very light-skinned, they got a long hair, they look like they've mixed. Now, the reason why is because all those firstborn sons, they didn't go back, they stayed behind, and then they intermarried. In some accounts, it's that there were as many as 20,000, as many as 20,000 of these firstborn sons that went with Menelik. Now, I don't know the exact amount, so I'm not going to just, but it was certainly a large number. And so they stayed behind. Now, at that time, the population of England was not even up to 150,000. Now, you can imagine thousands of men coming over. No women, just men. Now, they married among the local population. Menelik became king. And so that this happened 1,400 years before the birth of Christ. So you can just imagine the marriage and then the the procreation, and that's why you now have this nation of Ethiopia, where you have about 40 million people of Semitic origin. Now, so when that happened, they considered Jerusalem as their spiritual home. So it was natural that the the Ethiopians would go on the annual pilgrimage to Ethiopia, which they were doing beginning from Menelik's time, and which they still do till today. Yeah, actually, I was in Israel. Some of you saw the video I did in Israel October last year, and you have what they call the Beta Israel. They are still there. The Ethiopian Jews that were taken from Ethiopia by Israel and airlifted, one of the largest airlifting known to man, to Israel. Now, what happened was that one of those people, the Ethiopian eunuch, he was going on, and this is captured in the Bible in Acts chapter 8. He was going on his annual pilgrimage, and when he went there, Philip met with him, and then Philip talked to him, and then Philip converted him from Judaism to Christianity. And so he went back to Kandake, who was then the queen of Sheba, and he took the religion back with him. And so Christianity in Ethiopia is almost as old as it is as it was in Israel. In fact, the difference is that in Israel, I think maybe it's just about 3 years. Christianity in Israel is 3 years older than Christianity in Ethiopia. So a lot of you are used to Christianity in countries like, I don't want to mention countries, but you're used to materialistic Christianity, prosperity gospel, men of God, designers, spending a lot of money, throwing money about, that name it and claim it. And then come to Ethiopia and you see the kind of Christianity that existed in Jesus' day. I went there. I went to Ethiopia because obviously they knew I was coming before I was coming, and thank God, God has blessed the Free Leah Sharibu movement and Reynolds Nuggets. So there was a party waiting for me, and they had a car, they had guides, and so they took me to the Adadi Miriam Mosque, and you got to see, the only thing I can compare that I've seen that are like Ethiopian Christians are northern Nigerian Muslims. Ethiopian Christians can stop anywhere to pray. Prayer is so important to them. It's so important to them, and they're not materialistic. They're not materialistic at all. And then, look, if you have I'll give you a very good example. When I went there, I just like to be generous. It's my nature. And I was handing out money, and one gentleman told me, wait, please wait. And you know what he wanted to do? He just said, no, I'm coming, wait. And he wanted to pray. Now, just think about it. You want to give somebody money, and then the person says, wait, and he wants to pray. And then they took me, they showed me all their manuscripts. They showed me the place where the replica of the Ark of the Covenant is. So I just wanted to share this with you to help build your faith. I want to build the faith of people. Go back to that Christianity. And now, if you're listening to me, get your Bible, open to 1 Timothy chapter 6, read from verse 5 to 6. And it tells you that men of corrupt mind who think that godliness is a means to financial gain, but godliness with contentment is great gain. And I've seen that in Ethiopia. And I wanted to share that with you. This is Reno Mokri. I'll be leaving and I'll be continuing. This is the 20th country I've visited on behalf of the Free Leah Sharibu movement. I'm going to be visiting several other countries, but I just wanted to share this with you to help build your faith. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you.